Eloy Casagrande. And so this is kind of a two-part segment here. I got this article from the lovely people at Blabbermouth, but I also have a video that I wanted to show, and it's actually of Jim Root, and I believe it's where this article was sourced from anyway. But it's Jim Root from Slipknot. He was on this show called Tone. It's like Tone Guys or something. I'll remember it when we pull it up, but it's basically like a guitar show, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And they're interviewing Jim Root, and I love what he said. Like, I didn't clip all this, but we'll talk about it in a minute. Anyway, everyone knows now that Eloy is in Slipknot, and I thought this was kind of an interesting little press clipping, just of him talking about it. So let's dive into it. Former Sepultura drummer Eloy Casagrande has opened up about his recent decision to leave the band and join Slipknot. The 33-year-old musician, who was a member of the veteran Brazilian-American metal band for 12 years before exiting the group in February in order to hook up with the Iowa-based masked metalers, told Brazil's Veja São Paulo in a new interview that he was originally approached about auditioning for Slipknot last December by the band's manager shortly after Sepultura had already announced its 40th anniversary farewell tour. They asked me to record and send them some videos from right here in Brazil, he explained in comments that were published in his native Portuguese but translated to English by fans on Reddit. Initially, there were 3 songs, and they asked me for 3 more, and if I had any plans to go to the United States, and I was scheduled to perform there in January with my instrumental music project, Casagrande and Hanes. So they moved my flight up a little bit, and I spent 5 days in Palm Springs rehearsing with the full band. And then they asked me to extend my stay by another 5 days so we could record some things. I think that was also part of the audition. They threw new ideas at me to see what my songwriting was like. They wanted to test me in every way. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
In the interview with Jim Root that we're going to show, I don't know if I got this part of the clip, but he says that Eloy reached out to them originally. And I'm not trying to get Eloy in trouble or anything, but, you know.
The drama continues here.
Asked when he finally got confirmation that he was the new drummer of Slipknot, Eloy said, Slipknot is made up of 9 musicians, so there are many spheres and layers, and they needed everyone's approval before they gave me the okay. I think it was on February 5th that I received confirmation that I had passed the test. Regarding how the actual audition went, Eloy said at first they didn't explain what we were going to do. It was all kind of in the dark. The first thing they sent was an NDA document, so I couldn't discuss it with anyone. I learned the set list, prepared myself, and 4 days before the trip, they sent me a list of 32 songs that it would be important for me to know. Many of the songs I was learning weren't on that list, so I started looking for sheet music. When I got there in the United States, they gave me a set list on the first day, which had some songs I didn't know either, but we went out playing. On the first day, I was very nervous because the band was complete, and it's quite an impact to see the guys there in front of you. It's a band I've been listening to since I was a teenager and followed on TV. On the first day, I was terrible. I didn't like my performance, but from the second day on, I improved. Each day, they played a different set list in the morning, so I had a few hours to learn a song or two that was missing. Overall, it was very smooth. I had everyone's support. So I want to show this video with Jim Root because he talks a little bit about it too, and I think it's pretty cool, the stuff that he said.
By the way, I didn't realize the age difference between Eloy and some of the Slipknot guys.
The rest of the band, yeah.
Like Jim Root is, I looked him up here, he's 52.
52?
So he could be the dude's dad. Like there's that big of an age difference.
Yeah. That's crazy. I didn't, when he said, when we read his age just now, I thought about that too, because I didn't realize, I mean, the Slipknot guys are even older than I am, some of them.
Yeah.
I wonder if, what's Corey Taylor's age?
He just turned 50 last December.
That's right.
December 8th. What, your birthday's in December?
Yeah, 21st.
Yeah.
So here's the Jim Root clip.
We're playing Rockville this Sunday, and when was the last time you guys had a show? Was it just recently, or was
we just did 2 new shows to sort of
the show is called Tone Talk.
Introduce our new drummer to the world. We did a secret show at Pappy and Harriet's in Pioneer Town in the desert, kind of over by Indio, Palm Springs area.
Oh, nice.
Kind of out, and that was awesome. I love the desert, and that whole vibe is just cool. And the people there were just so nice, so cool, so accepting. And they had to have a city council meeting for us to do the show there because they were kind of like, Slipknot, this is a small sort of like kind of like chill hippie community. Do we want this chaos happening here type of thing? But it all turned out really cool, and everybody was really accepting, and everybody was really respectful. And we donated, we raised a bunch of money to donate for, like no-kill shelters, and so a bunch of money to pump back into the economy there in Pioneer Town, and that stuff like that to me is epic. Like that's like way better than like just, I don't know, some of the shit that you can end up doing in this industry for, let's just say, like not the greatest causes, but when you can do stuff like that, it just hits harder, And,
yeah, you're really making an impact. I mean,
I wonder what he means by that. Like that, not the greatest causes. Like what would they have done for not the greatest causes?
Right.
Yeah, and it was something special, and it gave us a chance to do something that we hadn't done in years, if not decades. Like play for 300 people. Like that was so much fun. I can't even describe. But so we did that to kind of.
It's wild to hear that from like someone who's been in a like huge band for such a long time, that it's like they're like, yeah, we got to play in front of 300 people.
You know what though? When they're so used to playing in front of tens of thousands, it's gotta be pretty special to like and nostalgic, to go back to that.
Totally.
And like make them feel young and fresh again.
There's something to be said too for like, it's the reason that like a good band has to slug it out in the clubs. Like you're like right next to people in those environments, so you get immediate feedback. It's one of the reasons stand-up comedy is so cool, because it's like instant feedback. Like if your joke is good and it hits, you can see the crowd laughing.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing, I'm sure, with music. When you're in those big, huge venues, it's so impersonal.
But there's a different kind of energy, I'm sure, that they love in those big arenas and stuff.
True.
So I think there's probably pluses and minuses both. It's
just interesting to hear someone like be like, oh, it felt so great to play for a small, tinier crowd, just it's interesting.
Like, boom, here he is. Yes, you were all right. It's Eloy Casagrande. He's our new dude. And then 2 days later we did Sick New World in Vegas. So
awesome.
So we got those under the belt and out of the way. And now it's time to move forward and onward and upward. And
I love doing this because it's like a live stream within a live stream. It's like modern art,
do a lot more jamming and rehearsing, and I need to get myself into writing mode so that we can write music worthy of Eloy's drumming, because that dude is a world-class drummer.
Yeah, you got.
That was something I thought was really cool to hear him say. But I clipped a little bit of the rest of this because it's interesting. He kind of talks a little bit about like the Slipknot writing process, and it's cool.
That's got to be it's got to be pretty honoring for Eloy to hear Jim Root say something like that, especially after playing with Joey Jordison and stuff like that for so many years. And
yeah, he talks a little bit about Joey in this clip too. Yeah, he said world-class drummer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys were. Yeah, there was obviously all the back and forth in the news for the past few months about all that stuff, and then just recently, obviously, for those who don't know, you landed on a new drummer, and so I'm excited about that. That's super cool, and to hear the new music that you guys are going to come out with will be killer. So when you guys are going to be writing, like, what would be the process be? Like, would you be doing it like getting into a room and like writing together, or is it like separately, you send tracks to each other, do a demo? Like, how would you guys work on that stuff?
We kind of do everything. I mean, it's so hard. Like, some guys, like, writing individually is how I prefer to do it, at least until there's a structure. But with this band and there being so many people into it, I think we are going to get together I'm not sure when, but we have a technical, like a penciled in schedule for us all to get together in a room and try to write like that, which I'm excited about doing. The band hasn't really done that since really before the first record, maybe a little bit during the Iowa record writing sessions, maybe a little bit during Subliminal, but that slowly drops off the more you have deadlines and schedules and the more the band grows. And it should be interesting, and hopefully it won't be a situation of there being too many cooks in the kitchen, which can in some ways inhibit productivity. We'll see. We're willing to try anything, but anything can spark from an idea. Sid could do something and that could spark Mike to like do a riff over it, and then sometimes those songs write themselves. And then a lot of times I'll spend a little bit of time at home throwing arrangements together, and I'll pop them over to Corey and he'll write lyrics for it. And then it'll filter out into the rest of the band, and they'll start putting their ideas on it. And then we'll start rearranging it and relayering it. And, nothing that's ever written by any one person in this band finishes that way. It has to go through the filter of everybody in the band before it actually becomes a Slipknot song.
That's cool. I think that's it's much tougher when you have 9 people in the band.
I was gonna say that's got to be so chaotic, because that's like more than double a lot of bands.
I think it's cool though, in the same way that it's like I don't know, I'm trying to think of a good analogy for it. Like maybe the way a movie is made, right? It's like a movie goes through so much process when it's put together. Like there's the script, and then the actors and the director have to get together, and they have to. There's the scene, the director of photography has a say in how it comes out, and then at the end of the day, the editor has the ultimate control.
Right.
So it's kind of like you have all these cooks in the kitchen, and that's kind of like the mix that makes Slipknot what it is, I guess.
Right.
And it's that way with any band, really.
Yeah, but I guess it surprises me. Like, imagine doing that with 9 people in a band.
Yeah, I'm sure at this point too, some people's weight holds more than others.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But it's cool to hear him saying that they're going back to their roots, like of writing in a room. Because Eloy definitely, a lot of the fans and stuff, if you read any of the chatter online and stuff, it's like someone in our comments actually said Slipknot 2.0. This is Slipknot 2.0. Basically. Like they are going back to their Joey roots. Like this guy is like a Joey level drummer. That someone was saying stuff about triggers, like why. And I'm not a drummer, so and I don't criticize people who use triggers because whatever. But anyway, they're like, yeah, Eloy uses all acoustic drums, no triggers and stuff. And so it's more like Joey Jordison style, I guess.
Sure.
We don't have to watch all this, but there's a couple.
But for me, it's just easier to no pressure, sitting in my room here, guitar, coming up with ideas. And then I can geek out on, arrangements and layering and harmonizing. And, do I want to throw a synth part over it, or, let's try different drums, and I do that just for myself, just to learn Pro Tools and learn. It's a learning process, isn't it? The whole time,
always.
Yeah. I mean, you could be the world's greatest songwriter. You could write songs as good as Kurt Cobain or, Queen, but you're still gonna approach it differently almost with every song you write. It just depends on where the inspiration sparks from and how it evolves once you get it to that point. I have hard drives full of nothing more than a riff in a session that I can't take anywhere. And then I have hundreds that are 4 riffs that I'm I know they're great. I know they could be great. And those are the things that I need to filter over, give to Clown, give to Corey, give to Mick, give to whoever, and be like, look, I have this thing. I know it's going to be great. Maybe you're going to listen to it and hear it differently than I do, and you'll be able to just go, oh yeah, easy, that's going to go into this, or and that's where you need those other creative entities to bounce these ideas that pop into your head off of.